Hi, this is Stover, the barbecue hunk. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Have a hunky day.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Sean Bono! It's all about the Sean Bono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate sushi for wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour of the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about only the highest level of important items that have crossed the course of the live fire industry over the past week or 2 weeks or month or 4 months. If it's important,
Boing.
you know we're going to talk about it. This I can tell you. Wow, it's the worst. I would tell you what that was, but I can't. Why bother? I'm saving myself the angst and made fun ofness. Lance Owens, realtor to the stars in the palatial tropical paradise of Hawaii. I love my Summit. It does it all. That's right. You know who else loves their Summit Kamado charcoal grill? Our pal Mike Lang from Another Pint, Please, who you can see live in person on September 23rd at the Hartville Hardware Grill Fest. I'll be emceeing. Mike Lang will be doing live demos. Somebody named Captain Ron will be doing live demos on the Big Green Egg side of things. And everybody's favorite, Danielle Bennett, will be doing things on the Traeger side. So 3 big stars. And if you can believe it,
a Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city breaking the most live fire breaking news across the nation, nay, the globe. Just breaking recently, Pitmaster Matt Frampton will be joining us. Now, he's not going to be doing live demos like Mike Lang and Diva and Captain Ron, but he's going to be chummed up with the folks that are going to be exhibiting over at the Gosney section of Hartville Hardware. So I can confirm that after weeks and months of contractual talk, the Pitmaster, as I call him, the Pizziola de Pizziolas, whatever that means, is going to be in Hartville for Grill Fest here September 23rd of this year. So only a few months away. Looking forward to hosting that once again. I forget what year this is, Steve, as you're listening to this on replay. Is this the 7th year? Is that right? 6th year? Man, if it's 7 years, this time has flown by. That's all I can say. Holy crap. And even if it's, well, no, I can't do the math. But somewhere between 5 and 7 years, I would imagine. So, breaking news, Pitmaster Matt Frampton, the Pizziola de Pizziolas, is going to be in Hartville along with all the slew of live fire celebrities that I mentioned. The show originating from
Bomb City, USA.
And if you tuned in last week, you know why we call it Bomb City, USA. Still to come on the show this evening, Sam the Cooking Guy will be joining me shortly. We say good evening to We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platform partners, Facebook and Twitch /BBQ Central Show, or you can take it in via YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we will update you now on the YouTube poll question of the week. I'm asking everybody, 20 years from now, lab-grown meat will be the majority of how meat is produced in the world. The answers are yes or no. And currently, 86% of you are saying no. The gap is widening. At one point during Ray's interview, we were at 75-25, and then quickly it has backed out to 86% saying no. 14% of you are saying yes, I'm in that 14%, although I'm not allowed to vote in my own poll. So let's say 15%. So let's call it 85-15 at the moment. So we'll see how that plays out. Sam, the cooking guy, is going to be coming up. We'll ask him what he thinks. And then I'll try my best as the show is getting ready to end to give you the final results of the poll, which I am very bad at doing, but I'm just setting the proper expectation. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this Friday, episode 288, taking you back to June 18th, 2013. If that date sounds so familiar, it is because this is part 4 of the 4-part miniseries. It concludes this coming Friday, where you have myself, of course, I'm the host, my sister, Kate, her sister from another mister, her roommate and friend, Lindsay. They were in my house in Euclid, Ohio back in 2013. So this concludes. Now remember, if you've been listening, this all stemmed from me. Katie was visiting. She was attending Kent State University at the time, I believe. Come over for a visit because she was local. We were trying to get in contact with Bob Trudnak, friend of the show, at Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Famer, by the way. Didn't happen. So impromptu segment with the sister and the friend of the sister. And John makes a 4-part docu-series out of one segment of the show. He didn't think it could be done. Then he ran across this magic and was able to pump it out. So you might be asking yourself, what could you expect in the conclusion of this 4-part miniseries? Oh, I'm glad you asked. How about mentions of bacon turtle burgers? Paula Deen gets a mention. Ruby, do you remember Ruby from one of those documentary series on, like, I don't know, whatever one of those channels that women watch? What do women watch? Hallmark, but it's not Hallmark. One of those other ones. She was a little rotund, and they followed her around, and she would say things like excited instead of excited. You know, Ruby. Remember, this is back in 2013. Big fan of the show, by the way. But Ruby gets a mention. World relations are talked about. Keep in mind, all of this content that we have been talking about for the last 3 or 4 weeks was derived off of the initial topic of bacon. I mean, what are the chances? What does this show us? That no matter what, no matter how much you think bacon is overused, over-talked about, overhyped, over-promoted, the bottom line is no, it's not. Bacon wins.
Big stuff out of here.
Bacon, if I might make a bold claim, bacon comes second only to sex. Sex, the all-time winner of everything ever, but in a close second, bacon. 4 shows based off of an initial topic of bacon, and then it swims downward from there. So, as I mentioned last week, if you're just finding this show for the first time, or you're just tuning into the best of show for the first time this coming Friday, please go back 3 weeks ago and listen to show 1, show 2, show 3 for proper listening continuity. Then listen to the show this coming Friday so you can listen to it all in the correct chronological order. Will you find it entertaining, funny, worthwhile if you take it out of the actual sequence of shows? Yeah, of course. They're all magic in their own right, thank goodness to John. But if you want to hear how the whole thing unfolds, then I would start at 1 and do your process of listening 1, 2, 3, 4 to get that full experience. You can subscribe to the show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. See all the different ways you can do that, even by email if you want. And if you want to hear a guest or segment again on the show that you think's been lost in the archives, which are now substantial, email John and let him know what you'd like to hear, JON@thebbqcentralshow.com. The next Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series is happening this coming weekend. That's right, July 8th in Addison, Illinois. Of course, everybody knows Addison, Illinois, one of my favorite locations across the nation. For more information or to see results from past events, you go to famousdaves.com/All-Star Barbecue Series. As we talked about lab-grown chicken last week, by the way, it's made its menu debut at a place called Bar Kren later last week. This week, we're talking about it, and as I mentioned with Dr. Barbecue, it's lab-grown beef. I'm not going to read the whole article. If you care to read it, I posted a link on my Facebook fan page about it, but I wanted to mention a few things in this article. Number one, this article was written back in April of this year and features an Israeli company called Stakeholder, as I had mentioned earlier in the show as well, which is ironic, of course. For as new as I thought this concept was, and we have been talking about the possibility of this for the past few years on the show, lab-grown meat in some form or fashion. But this is a different level of readiness than even I was expecting. I didn't think, as I was reading about chicken cultivated cells growing in vats, that later in the week, Bar Kren was going to be debuting it. People were eating it. This is the $20 a pound chicken, and I don't know it to be any better than commodities chicken or heritage chicken or whatever. Like some people have heritage turkeys that they buy $5, $6 a pound off of whatever you would get for a butterball. What is that, 99 cents a pound during Thanksgiving or whenever the hell you would buy it anyway? I mean, substantially more expensive, without a doubt. But the level of readiness I was not aware of. Number two, a term that I had never thought about being used ever in this world is being tossed around frequently in this article. That term is food tech. That's right, food tech. Tech being the ethical cultivation of cells from various animals to create the non-traditionally raised proteins. If I might entertain you with an excerpt of this article, the food tech industry has the potential to revolutionize the way people produce and consume food with innovative solutions like cultivated meat and 3D bioprinting. Food tech companies can create a more sustainable food system that's better for both the environment, animal welfare. With Stakeholder Foods as the leading player in the cultivated meat industry, we can look forward to a more sustainable and ethical future for foods. Once again, if you're interested in reading more on that article or starting to follow some of these folks on social media to see what they're up to, go to my Facebook fan page, click on that article, and then read till your heart desires. And as I had mentioned with Ray Lampe, I did reach out to Stakeholder and said, hey, love to have you on the show. This is what I do. And they said, thank you for reaching out. Your show sounds very relevant to us. Please share some more information about what it is and where you're at and what kind of an audience do you have and what you need from us. What do you mean? I'm the number one show, damn it.
Get that big stuff out of here.
You mean you don't know who I am? My feelings are hurt. I'll remember that, Stakeholder, when I have you on this show. How about that? That's right. All right, Sam, the cooking guy, is in the green room ready to go. We won't leave him waiting. So stick around for what will be a firm hold outline segment that you will not believe. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Available in 3 sizes, a host of accessories to complete that Pit Barrel cooking experience. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. You visit pitbarrelcooker.com, and then you tell them the Barbecue Central show sent you. And just to confirm how well this cooker executes food, neighbor Desmond cooked not 1, but 3 racks of ribs, and they were delicious for 4th of July dinner. So if you don't think it cooks well, you're wrong. The thing cooks great. My guest in the second hour, a YouTube cooking maven with over 3.54 million subscribers as of some point yesterday. We talk about food, we talk about live fire, and we talk about nonsense. Sam, the cooking guy, joining us here on the show, as he always does here the first Tuesday in the second hour. We have a new YouTube poll question of the week, Sam, that I can't wait.
Bring it on. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Here we go. 20 years from now, Sam, 20 years from now, lab-grown meat will be how the majority of meat is produced in the world, yes or no?
No.
Wow. And that was a definitive no.
But I say that because I don't want that to be how the majority of the meat is grown.
All right. Now
I'm okay with it being.
Let's re-ask the question. Put your feelings aside and let's be real about it. 20 years from now, lab-grown meat will be how the majority of meat is produced in the world, yes or no?
No. I don't want that.
I know you just said that, but what you want and what can happen have to be different.
Doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is what I want today.
What are you, 7 years old?
No, yes, maybe I am. Listen, it's 4th of July. It's Independence Day. We should be independent. We should do what we want. And by the way, this is my first year as an American. Every other 4th of July that we've spent together, if the show has fallen on a 4th of July, I have been a Canadian.
Yeah.
This year, I'm an American citizen.
You are a real-ass American.
A real-ass American. And I'm saying, as an American citizen, I want to exercise my right for independence. I want to say what I want to say. And I do not want the majority of our meat coming from some fucking test tube 20 years from now. I want cattle out in the field. I want chickens in the pens. I want pigs in the slop house, wherever they are. I'm okay with all that. I eat meat. I'm okay with it.
But what about
I don't want animals to be abused. I don't want them to be, taken advantage of. What is the earth?
Taken advantage of? What do you think? They're hookers in the night?
I don't know what's happening.
I know exactly what's happening.
It's 4th of July.
You have a baby cow. You have a baby meat product. It's raised in the field. It's finished off. It's trotted into a tractor trailer. It's taken to a place where it is murdered in cold blood. And then it is stripped of all its meat, provided for you to eat, and it's delicious, and that's how it's done.
Listen,
sorry to be so bold.
Everything before it's delicious, I didn't hear. I don't want to know about that. I understand that happens. I don't have to be okay with it.
You know what? I think this is a great point to talk about. And I didn't think
we're the higher level, and that's the way it is.
I didn't think
if Martians came down and they wanted to start fucking eating us, then it's going to happen, and they're going to be the higher level. But right now, we are the higher level. So.
It's interesting that you say, whatever you were saying before, it's delicious. I didn't want to hear about. And I didn't think we would talk about this at all this evening.
Oh, God.
Do you think that this is the problem? If people had to turn on a internet site or a TV channel, I don't know. And
go ahead.
You had to see how your chicken goes through its process to get to your table, or how your beef. Don't you think there is a wide disconnect between how this actually happens? And
listen.
But I'm not even finished.
You know the expression, you don't want to see how the sausage is being made.
Yeah, but that's sausage.
I don't. I understand how this happens. You trying to lose people from your channel?
No, but what I'm saying is maybe if you could see it and it's smacking you in the face, maybe then it's not steak 7 times a week and burgers twice on Sunday. Maybe it's a different diet because you now have a Yeah, look, I know what happened.
Bigger question. Here's a bigger question. You're having burgers twice on Sundays?
Why not?
That's too much.
Lunch, dinner,
it's too much protein.
Breakfast burger. Maybe you should do that on the show. Breakfast burgers. Think Maxie would like that?
Don't eat the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And do not duplicate meals. If you're having a sandwich for lunch and a sandwich for dinner, that's effed up. Don't have a burger for lunch and a burger for dinner. That's effed up.
But I could have a tavern-style burger for lunch, triple cheese smash burger for dinner. Two different things.
That's mess. No, it's too much.
Delicious.
It's too much. Then you have a steak salad for dinner. That's okay. Burger for lunch, steak salad for dinner, fine. Burger for lunch, a stir-fried chicken on some rice with vegetables for dinner.
That's way different.
That's okay. But burgers for lunch, burgers for dinner, not okay.
Because it's redundant? You're worried about that?
Hot dogs for lunch, hot dogs for dinner, not okay. Especially if you're, you know who.
But what? Yeah, no kidding. By the way, how about this? Doug, we'll end with you. Hot dogs.
It tastes like nothing. The only time to have a hot dog is if you're at a baseball game. And that would be the only reason or situation I could picture having a hot dog.
You are saying you don't like hot dogs.
Stop it. Cut that.
All right.
The only other person I talk to from your channel more than you is that guy.
But does he weaseling in? I would hate to think that he is somehow taking advantage of me knowing you and then weaseling in on a relationship.
No,
just give me the word and I'll tell him to stand down.
No, don't. I don't want him to stand down. I love.
Maybe
Dougie.
You should talk to Rusty more.
But listen, I don't know Rusty very well.
That's a shame.
At all, actually. Look, I'll talk to everybody. If you ask my wife what I do for a living, she'll say, "Oh, he talks." She won't say he cooks or he's on YouTube. She'll say he talks.
He's a talker.
I love to talk. He's a talker. I love to talk. I'll talk to Rusty. I just don't know Rusty. Doug and I have a relationship off the show.
Only because of me.
I can't believe he doesn't like hot dogs. I need to make some fucking hot dogs for Doug to turn his head around.
Doug,
you know, one of the things people
it would be okay if Doug didn't like hot dogs. Doug has a passionate hate, like they are the devil's food.
No,
it's unbelievable. His deniance of cooking hot dogs on his grill is crazy.
Listen, I don't think Doug's hatred of hot dogs is from his mouth. I think it's in his head.
He says they taste like nothing. Agree or disagree?
No, come on, please.
He's outrageous.
Hot dogs? A good maybe he's only eating shitty hot dogs.
I fear Doug is sick. Nobody's diagnosed him yet.
Next month or something. He goes, I'm going to be there. You want to come up and see me? I'm only going to go up there if I can make him a fucking hot dog that he will eat. But I don't think he will. I think he's fully.
What if we get a hold of him?
Cilantro. Yeah.
What?
I used to hate cilantro.
How dare you?
Like, hate it. Like, I would go to somebody's house for dinner and they opened up the front door. I took one step in over the threshold. I could smell the cilantro. And I think in my mind, oh my God, I'm going to have to eat this. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be the worst thing ever. And at some point, and I don't know what it was, Greg, I said, I need to just be more open to foods. And I'm going to start with cilantro. Cilantro now to me is one of the greatest things ever.
You didn't have that. You didn't have that cilantro taste issue.
It doesn't taste like soap.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bio inbred thing that these people are going to fucking hate cilantro forever. I think it's bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't like cilantro. Then you just don't like cilantro, but it's not some inbred thing, biological. Fuck you.
I don't think inbred is the right term you're looking for.
Okay, maybe it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Maybe it's. Listen, I may or may not have had a couple of cocktails before. It's July 4th, buddy. It's 7:30.
Happy birthday, America. Hope you were having fun at work today, England, dickhead.
7:25. 7:25 here, and our fireworks I'm an hour and a half away from fireworks.
Wow. Are you a fireworks
in
guy?
That room right there. Who? They're waiting for
Name the celebrities in the room next to you.
No celebrities.
Yeah, right.
Celebrities.
Go ahead.
Can you not hear them?
Is Sean Walchef over there? celebrity?
Deb, Howard, and Kelly are in that room.
Well,
Sean
Kelly's a celebrity, no doubt.
Sean Walshoff is in Bulgaria eating Bulgarian 4th of July food.
You know, he shipped a Weber kettle over there last year.
He should have.
Yeah. Introducing Bulgarians to American live fire. Are you a
By the way, you and I both like the same what's the guy's name? Somebody did a thing about a Weber kettle. Oh, damn it. It was a yellow one. The new model with the little... You liked it. I saw it. What's his name?
Tuffy Stone?
Sorry. Tuffy Stone.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, what is that Weber? I don't have a Weber. I'm like, I should buy a Weber.
Tuffy's got like 40 different Weber kettles of varying colors. Yeah, he collects.
Yeah. But that was the new 70-year anniversary one.
Yeah.
It looked cool. It was yellow. But I looked at that and I was like, I just need a Weber. I don't own a Weber. I should have a Weber. I'm going to get a Weber.
Why do you?
Which one should I get?
Why don't you call your buddy over Traeger and have him buy you a Weber? How about that?
Boy, come on, stop it.
Look, I've often said, I think the first thing we ever talked about when you had me on your live cast 100 years ago, we were talking about barbecue basics. I said, hey, to me, the Weber kettle, if you don't want a full-on smoker, so I'm always suggesting Weber Smoky Mountain for a full-on smoker, something along these lines. Nowadays, it's going to be a pellet cooker, of course. But back then,
of course,
I said, if you don't want to get a full-on smoker, but you want to taste it, get a Weber kettle. I call it the gateway drug into barbecue. Why? Because you can set it up in a number of different ways. It doesn't have to be direct live fire cooking. You can bank the coals to one side, do 2-zone. You can split them apart. You can do smoke roasting.
By the way, you're in for what? Less than a couple $100.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, easily.
I don't know what a basic one is, but
if I think a basic 18-inch Weber without any fancy ash clean out's $150.
$150.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Even the 70-year anniversary one is $400 or something like that. You don't need that.
No.
If you want to get into the game, that's the way to go. People say to me, I'm going to redo my backyard, or what should I do? I go, here's what I think you need. I think you need some way to smoke and some way to grill over charcoal or briquette. That's it. It's that simple. That's what you should have. Even if you buy a tiny pellet smoker, because that's the easy way in, plug and play, and you get something you can do charcoal and or briquette in, you're covered. Gas, ask me the 20-year question. Will gas grills be the majority of the market 20 years from now?
Yes.
Fuck no, I don't think they will, and I don't think they should be.
Yeah, of course they will.
Look, they're always going to have a place, but come on.
Gas grills will remain
now.
It's too easy. Gas grills will continue to remain to be in the lead in the category. Always.
Listen, I have a new cookbook coming out next year. Oh, should we talk about this?
Yeah.
Yes, we should talk about this because you spoke about. Look, there it is, Sam the Cooking Guy and the Holy Grill.
Look at this. He's got meat on a sword. Ready to go.
I do. I sword.
Love it.
I need to send you. Look, the next time we're here next month in August, let me send you the pictures that were that were planned to be the cover.
Please
shot.
tell me some of them were like Conan the Barbarian garb.
Oh, they were very close to that, man.
Oh, God. I need to see you almost shirtless, muscles rippling, sweat from the brow.
No, there's none of that. No.
Coming down.
It's very Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
This is Sam the Cooking Guy and the Holy Grail.
This is pretty good.
That book, by the way, was contracted for with my publisher last year, 2022.
Yeah.
I had deliverables, this date for the manuscript, this date for the photography, this date for the whatever.
Yeah.
There's a timeline, right?
I've heard all about it recently.
It'll come out March 14th of 2024.
Yes.
This whole meathead thing, what the hell? What the effing hell has happened there? What a shit show. Look, I love Meathead. I love him. I love him when he.
You better say.
I love him when he falls asleep, and I love him when he falls asleep and doesn't show up for the podcast. I love his irreverence. I love his opinions, but I love the fact that his wife is like some nuclear biologist in the food world.
Yeah,
but what the hell? I don't understand how a publisher, and a big publisher that he has, contracts for a book. And then at some point, it fucking implodes, explodes, it takes a shit, whatever. And they're like, okay, so it was supposed to be here, but now it's not. It's going to be like 8 years from now, and then maybe this will happen. What went on there? Have you had that real conversation with him yet, or is that yet to come?
Here's the great news. I know all about it. And on July 11th, all will be revealed.
I cannot wait.
Because look,
I cannot wait.
What I promised, because I had pre-recorded, I'll mention this in the next segment after we wrap up here in a couple minutes.
Because you're going to be away.
But I had pre-recorded the segment with Meathead. I said, I would love to talk about the book. And he said, okay, we'll mention it. And he said, but I don't think it's going to take a half hour of time to talk about this. I said, no. I said, not only is it going to take an hour, but I'm allotting the whole first hour with a break, because we're going to go all the way back to how you got the first book deal, how that came to be, the success of that book, and then the second book came, you announced it, then it broke up, now you've re-mentioned it again. We explore the whole universe of this book. And I got to tell you, it is amazing. It is an amazing story.
Listen, I cannot wait. This is like it's like some show I'm watching on Netflix that they leave you hanging at the end of an episode that you have to binge the next one right away.
Yeah.
This Meathead is coming out. It's going to be out next year. It's guaranteed. It's happening. The photos are done. Everything's happening. And then next time you talk to him, there's been a problem. It's not coming out for 17 more years. And I want to split it. It's not just one book. It's 45 books. It's bigger than the fucking Bible. What is he doing here?
Meat Bible. Well, there's already been barbecue Bible, so we can't do that.
There has been barbecue Bible.
So I think one thing that I'll tell you is this.
I can't
and I don't want to ruin it. But
don't. Should you say this?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not going to ruin the whole thing. But I think that the issue that well, look at this. Hold on. Can you believe for the second month in a row, Madison Rempe is watching Facebook? I think she's just a fan of you, Sam, if I'm going to be honest.
I think she is.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, I'm a fan of Madison's.
Are you?
Very good. Yes, of course.
All right, look at this. Reciprocating fandom. I like we're reaching across the aisles. So I think what's happened is the second book has taken so long that Meathead didn't stop generating content. And all of a sudden he realized, I have enough for 2 books. And where I differ on opinion is he should have kept that extra book instead of now, I don't want to say demanding that this book now become a 2-book set. He should have held that off to the side for a third book to say, hey, why don't we lock in a third book? Well, now he's already got it done because he's been generating content. That's what I think.
Okay, here's all I'm going to say. I only know from my own experience. Look, Meathead may have a very different relationship with his publisher. If you're self-publishing a book, fuck you, go do whatever you want. But if you have a proper publisher, here's all I'm going to say. It was spelled out for me in my agreement with them that I signed that I was good with. The book will be this many pages. It will be this many recipes. It will be this long. It will be this topic. It will be due. The manuscript will be due here. The next part will be due here. I don't know how you go, what his relationship, it sounds like his agreement is, dear Meathead, we agree to pay you X dollars for a book sometime. And he signs it. That's what it sounds like. Because how are you getting down to the wire when you owe a certain number of recipes and pages and all that stuff? And then you're like, I don't know what side went. I don't know. This should be 17 books instead of one book. I have questions.
Well, that's a great question. Hopefully,
and listen.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. I'm a huge fan of Meathead.
Who isn't?
Huge fan. I'm sure there's people.
Oh, I couldn't even name
hate you, and there's people that hate me. I don't know their names.
What?
But of course there's people that don't like it. I know. Hard to believe that people don't like you. I've accepted that long ago.
I will not.
Long ago. People don't like me. And I'm okay with it. My grandmother would say, that's, Greg, why they make different flavors of ice cream.
That's right.
Because some people like vanilla and other people like chocolate.
Variety is the spice of life.
There you go.
By the way,
you don't have to like me. Don't want to watch me? Go watch fucking somebody else. I don't care.
By the way, Sam, if you can believe it, not only is Maddie watching tonight, Army Reservist Steve is watching tonight as well.
Oh.
Who do we like better, Army Reservist Steve or Maddie?
It's very tough. It's very tough.
The answer is Maddie, of course. I mean, come on. How dare you?
Well, I'm not going to answer. Do I have to answer?
No, not anymore. I just answered for both of us. Saving you face.
You're asking me which one of my 3 children I like the best.
I think you like Max the best.
You don't know that's true.
I do. You work with him. You've shunned the other ones. You barely even talk.
Number one, he's not the youngest.
That doesn't matter.
Number 2, he's not given me grandchildren. So what is
he? Do you care about that?
He's the guy that I work with almost every day. Look, I love all my children. I'm very fortunate that I have an amazing relationship with all my children. And I'm not saying that to be middle of the road. I'm saying that because that's true.
Well, I'm not going to be middle of the road either. I like Maddie the best. How about that? I just know the other two aren't watching, so I will go ahead and assert my dominance right here. All right, look, you can go to thecookingguy.com, see what Sam's up to. Yeah. You can subscribe to him on YouTube if you haven't, and to get all of his stuff. Do. By the way, I made a social media post here recently about these knives. Oh my God, they are just the best. I used that boner the other night, and it carved the fat out of those butts. That boner carved the fat out of those butts like you wouldn't believe.
You didn't carve out too much fat, though.
No, just the stuff that doesn't render.
I feel like people take too much fat out of the butt sometimes, out of everything sometimes.
I've left a lot. I leave a lot more on the cap side than I used to. I used to take that all down.
There you go.
And then in the seam, opposite of the meat muscle, I do get in there and take all that out because that doesn't render out, and then it's just nasty. You got to pick it out, and I figure spend a little time up front and get it all. Why not?
By the way, just let me say that Sam the Cooking Guy and the Holy Grill, you can't get it till next March 14th, but you can pre-order it now.
Really?
Just of course.
Wow.
You can pre-order Meatheads. Oh, no, you can't. It's not a book yet. It's going to be 17 books by the time he's done.
The 17 books.
Let's have a conversation. What the hell?
Encyclopedia Meat Hanukkah is going to be Meathead's release.
Don't. Teasing is one thing, but teasing for an extra couple of years is not a good thing.
That's right.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's not spring of 2024. It's spring of 2025. But all will be revealed next Tuesday when you listen to the show.
Yes.
And
by the way, the fact that Meathead is not launching a book the same time I am, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, of course, you better.
Look at him, throw that shit off to 2030.
Maybe you need to coincide with him on whenever your next book on before it's just a flesh wound is released. So the one after that,
it's not called Just a Flesh Wound.
It's not.
It is not called that. No. Sam the Cooking and the Holy Grill.
The Holy Grill, right. The next one after that, you said...
Sam the Cooking and the Flesh Wound.
What was the thing you said? It's like, what movie? The pictures?
Wait, what?
The pictures you wanted to...
Monty Python.
Oh, Monty Python, right. You said Monty Python.
There's no flesh wound.
What the hell? What are you talking about? In that movie, they cut it. Oh, it's merely a flesh wound.
Oh,
dude,
God,
I'm so sharp. You're not even catching how sharp I am.
No, I'm not.
No.
You're sharp as my boner.
Yes. Well, that's pretty sharp. That's all I got to say about it.
Knife the boner.
Knife the boner. That's right. Which you can go to shopstcg.com and get it right now, and you'll be very happy that you did. Sam, enjoy the fireworks. Enjoy the rest of America's birthday, your first time being able to celebrate it as Americans, and we will continue to cast dispersions north to Canada, going, take your smoke and your fires back because you're ruining my air quality.
We've had fires here. We can't help it.
I've never been suffocated in smoke from a U.S. fire in Ohio.
But leave us alone. Don't blame Canada.
It's them. It's not us. It's them.
Stop it.
How dare
us
you?
Alone, please.
Why are you jumping ship? Are you renouncing your citizenship as a U.S. American by saying we?
You ever seen those people that stand on the like the international dateline or the international board and they got one foot in both camps? That's me.
No, you have to pick. You're an American, period.
I don't have to pick.
Yeah, you do. You did. You picked America. Otherwise, you would have stayed a Canadian.
Listen, when I became an American, they did not ask me to turn in my Canadian passport.
They said, freely ripped it up.
You're fine with you being both.
Nobody said that. America doesn't say that. You have to pick a side, pal, and it's America
they
or
would have
nothing.
taken it. What they wanted was my green card. The day that I became an American, they took my green card. I could not go into the ceremony without passing over my green card.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
that thing went into the fucking shredder in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, good. Now you're an American, and we can hate whoever we want going forward because we're real Americans, and that's what we do.
Stop it. And so on my first proper July 4th Independence Day in this country.
Yes.
I need to go cook some the Vietnamese style chicken out there in my black.
All right. Well, have your very 4th of July Vietnamese style chicken, and we will see you in August.
All right. Love you.
Sam, love you. Of course. ShopSTCG.com is the website, and don't let Sam fool you. He's 100% American now. He acts like he's pro-Canada, but he's not, just like none of us are, especially with these fires. He's 100% American. What do we got? Okay. Big Papa Smokers is the online shop for all things barbecue, a curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies, getting you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, they have something for every type of outdoor cook. Of course, you know the popular rubs and seasonings: Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, Double Secret Steak Rub, Little Louis Seasoned Salt, just to name a few. 13 perfectly balanced flavors, transforming ordinary meals into extraordinary. The owners of what? Granny's Barbecue Sauce, that's right. You can go to BigPapaSmokers.com, find them all right there. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers, or you don't know what type of grill you need and you have questions, call them and ask them. 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727, or shop their website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. We will be back with a remaining open segment right after this. If you want to email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, and we'll see you in just a few.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Sam, the cooking guy, for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring. or connect via the red, white, and blue hoo-hoo tooths. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. The Fireboard 2, the Fireboard 2 Drive, and the Fireboard 2 Pro. And don't forget about that Fireboard Spark, which I just used all through the pork butt cook last night and into early/later this morning. By the way, Sam's website, thecookingguy.com, and he assured me that if you go there to the main website, that everything links over. You can go to the YouTube, the shop, blah, blah, blah. So, thecookingguy.com. Last week, we were talking about getting your input on content that you would like to see, because starting next Tuesday on July 11th, and then that following Tuesday, July 18th, there will not be any live new shows. So I had asked if you wanted me to stitch together 2 best ofs in successive weeks, the 11th and 18th, or if I should be recording new content and then releasing them into the podcast feed. And in the end, as you had heard, if you're just tuning in, you don't know that, but if you listen to last segment, I'm going to be pre-recording new content. I'm certainly not a non-fan of best of shows. However, since I do have the time and I knew who was going to be in those segments on the 11th and 18th, I decided that we would pre-record new content. In total honesty, okay, I'm trying to trick you a little bit on the Meathead one. I didn't know if we were going to try and pass it off as live. I mean, I was going to tell you. So if you think, as you're listening to it, and by the way, as I'd mentioned last segment or the segment before, you're not going to see on the 11th and the 18th any new video like you're seeing here. The shows are going to get dropped right into the podcast feed, so you will have one on Wednesday and you will have one on Thursday. You will continue to have your best of on Fridays. But on the 11th and the 18th, no new shows that day. Nothing those days on Tuesdays. But Wednesday, your podcast feed will populate with a brand new show of content. And so will happen on Thursday. And then the following week, same release schedule. New show on Wednesday, new show on Thursday. Best moment shows will all be new on Fridays in successive weeks as well, just like they always are. So I thought it would be better to do new content. And really, after you listen to the Meathead epic that we've put together, that really explores, gives you a whole look at Meathead's book, the genesis of Meathead's book writing experience, all the way from how he got book deal number 1 to the book deal number 2 that Sam was talking about, and all the points in between. It's great, okay? All your questions are going to be answered. You're wondering if even still under contract, paid the advance, blah, blah, blah. Are you still worried that Meathead is not going to be bringing out a book? I asked the embedded correspondents last week. 3 of us, Doug, Rusty, myself, said we absolutely believe that at some point in time, hopefully in 2025, this book is going to be released. However, John Solberg didn't bat an eyelash when he said this book is just never going to happen. So if you are in that camp, hopefully what you will hear next week with Meathead in that first release on Wednesday will shore up any concerns that you have, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. So we have new shows pre-recorded 11th and the 18th. Such guests as quarterly correspondent or quarterly guest Jess Pryles. Mike McLeod from World Food Championships is coming in with a huge announcement. It's going to shock your very foundations of your beings. This could be the biggest news we've ever announced on the show, ever. Robert Moss is going to be on in his usual segment of Meathead, as I had just mentioned. Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com, just to mention a few. And again, they're going to be released directly into the podcast feed. So if you're looking Tuesday next week and the week after for the video, that's not happening. No lives. The next live show will be back on July 25th when we're back. So that's what the release and programming notes look like here over the next couple weeks as the show draws to a close here this evening. I don't not talk about other barbecue podcasts, but I listen to all other barbecue podcasts because maybe there's some that I want to be fans of or ones that I don't know about. I like to think that I have my finger on the pulse of all the other barbecue podcasts that are out there, but I'm not as naive to think that I know all of them that are out there. There's one that's called Don't Drop the Tongs Podcast. Have you heard this one? I've listened to a handful of episodes. From what I can ascertain, it's a 3-host, or is at that point, is it 3 co-hosts? I don't know. There's 2 guys. I don't remember what their name is. The other guy, Phil the Grill, who I believe also owns Trap House Barbecue, Arizona. And he's been on the show once, long time ago, maybe twice, definitely once, long time ago. And their most recent episode, if you don't listen to any other episode, the one that was released last week, maybe it was Wednesday, Thursday. I do notice that a lot of barbecue podcasts are released on Tuesdays. I wonder why that is. Nevertheless, the one that they just released is with a guy. They're doing an interview on TikTok. His name or handle is Barfly7777, I think. Now, maybe the handle doesn't mean anything to you, but if you're on social media at all recently over the last couple weeks, maybe a month, this is the guy that's cooking barbecue in his hotel room on TikTok. The one that I saw, he did a rack of ribs in his hotel bathroom. He took the hairdryer, he took a pillowcase, he got his ribs ready to cook, took the membrane off the back, seasoned them all up. Very dirty hands, kind of skeeved me out. Just from a cleanliness standpoint, I like to use gloves myself, easier cleanup, but he didn't care. Who cares? And then he shoves the rack of ribs into the pillowcase, followed by the hairdryer, wraps it around, secures it, starts it, puts a temperature gauge into the pillowcase to monitor his pit temps. And I think he ended up getting around 200 degrees, and he cooked them for, I think, a total of 6 hours or something along these lines. Might have stopped halfway through to do a sauce glaze and, set the sauce like that. So if you've seen a guy cooking on TikTok in hotel rooms, this is the guy, Barfly7777, I think it is. Well, these guys that Don't Drop the Tongs podcast land this guy for an interview. Now, for you sound snobs out there, I can tell you that the 3 hosts, to me, sound like they are on some type of microphone, whether it be USB or whether they have more of an elite setup like mixers and XLR microphones like I have. One isn't better than the other as long as you sound good. But all of the hosts sound comparable in their audio fidelity, which I certainly appreciate as a listener. Barfly sounds like he is called in on the telephone. Not sure exactly how they're piping in that. Maybe he was on a computer and it was, a different room. I don't know exactly. But to me, it sounded like it was done on a phone. You got to go listen to this interview. This guy, Barfly7777, is gold. He's an interview gold. I'm pretty sure that one of these guys on Don't Drop the Tongs probably also books the show. Might have reached out through TikTok or whatever social media platform this guy is really big on. I think it's TikTok. And said, hey, come on the show. The guy agreed, and here they are doing this show. Unbelievable to get this guy's background, about what he's up to. Phil the Grill seems to have the least amount of problems with this guy. One of the hosts was very skeeved out by this guy's whole deal. I was wondering how he's just not getting declined at hotel rooms all the time. I mean, the simple answer to that is, what does the hotel care? I mean, he's not 100 million views on TikTok doesn't mean that every hotel you go in, the person checking you in knows who you are or is watching that portion of TikTok. Doesn't make their algorithm. Although I don't know how this guy's algorithm is, populating or how your algorithm would populate with this guy. I mean, I know why he did for me because I watch pretty much everything barbecue on TikTok. But to promote another barbecue podcast that isn't Pitmaster's podcast, baseball and barbecue podcast, did I say the Pitmasters podcast already? Grill Coach podcast, Pit Life podcast, all the ones that I listen to regularly, and like How to Barbecue Right podcast, of course, with Malcolm Reed. If you only listen to one, listen to this one. Don't Drop the Tongs podcast with the guy Barfly. See it, look for it in the description. I forget exactly how it was titled. But do that. You're going to be very happy and very entertained by this guy. He knows what's going on, if we can say it like that. He's got his wits about him. He knows how to handle the questions. He probably realizes that a lot of these interviews that he does, people might be looking to take an angle on him. So he appears to be very adept at how to get around an interview, which I certainly appreciate as well as a host who would be interviewing this guy. So, but maybe I would like to have him on, maybe not. I don't know. I have to think about that. But if you want to hear him outside of what you've seen on TikTok, Don't Drop the Tongs podcast is definitely one you want to check out. Now, I started it, and I want to play it for you here as the show closes out here on July 4th. Of course, we know that's a big holiday for eating, and especially hot dogs. This was animated by our friend Damon at Doodles and Things. Doug had contracted this out, sent it to me. This dates back a while ago when we learned about Doug's hatred of hot dogs. I started playing just a few moments of it when Sam was on. Here's the full unadulterated cut. I hope you enjoy it. Doug, we'll end with you. Hot dogs.
It tastes like nothing. The only time to have a hot dog is if you're at a baseball game, and that would be the only reason or situation I could picture having a hot dog.
You are saying you don't like hot dogs, period.
Period.
Whoa! Revelation upon revelations going on here.
They have no taste.
Traeger, remove this man from power immediately.
Now, sausage is a different deal. So I will eat that, but not a hot dog.
So no Hebrew National, no Nathan's Famous, no Ballpark. Like, did you have a bad experience as a Ute or something like that?
They don't taste like anything. It's mystery meat.
It has a taste to it. It's meat, for crying out loud. It has to have a taste.
No. Luckily, my friend this weekend did not ask me to cook his kids hot dogs on my Traeger grill.
Would you have told him no?
It's a principal thing. No.
This is the best embedded correspondence segment I've ever heard. Doug hates kids and hot dogs. That's like hand in hand, I think. Wow. It's magic. That segment is magic. And that is how we are ending the show this evening. Damon is an incredible animator. I already told him that I wanted to have him on to, or have him recontract him to do another one for me. So Doug did that all on his own. I gave him the audio, but he sent it over to Damon, conceptualized it, and now you have that magic. It's also up on my social media platforms. We're going to wrap the show right after this. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rempe.
All right, let's go ahead and get ready to wrap it up. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Ray Lampe, drbbq.com. If you're interested in getting his rubs, do that over there. And then the second hour, Sam the Cooking Guy. Thecookingguy.com is his website. You can link everywhere else he is across the internet by going to thecookingguy.com. Open segment there at the end of the show. And of course, Doug's latest animation release. It's on my social medias. If you're listening to it on podcast and you want to see it, go to one of the video streaming platforms so you can enjoy it. New content pre-recorded next week, the 11th. The following week, the 18th, we'll be back live on the 25th. We will do it live on the 25th. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. My pronouns today specifically are you, S, and A. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And for the two-time and only defending World War champions,
the USA. I am proud U.S. American. Greg Rempe, good night now.
Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling all the time.